if that's how you define God, where science has yet to tread,
right,
then God to you is an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance. If you go online and in a Google search, you type God's worshipped by humans. There's a tally of all the gods ever worshipped by humans in the history of civilization.
Do you think you would be happier if you believed in God?
I'm a pretty happy guy.
Do you think you'd be happier?
History of civilization, anytime people had gods that they revered, they're in high places. The heavens have been associated with deity.
Correct.
From the beginning.
Right.
Okay? And so my field, astrophysics, directly confronts many people's questions regarding our existence.
Right.
For that reason.
Mommy, where's heaven? Oh, it's up there. No, it's not, because I have a telescope. It's not up there, Mommy.
Right. So you have that intersection of people's curiosity and what actually happens in modern astrophysics.
Okay.
And if you are religious or prone to be religious, it's
which
easy.
I think everyone is.
But perhaps, we're human.
We're prone to.
It's a human thing.
It's a human thing.
There's an urge, I think, to see that which is unknown in the universe. You hear of it. Big unknowns like dark matter and dark energy. Two hugely mysterious pieces of modern astrophysics that are unresolved.
Right.
And they're not little, they're big.
Okay.
You add them together, it's 95, 96% of what is driving this universe, and we have no clue what it is.
That's insane.
No clue.
Okay. So then, you know what happened? This happened in the 1700s. The city of Lisbon, Portugal. 1755, I think was the year. From off by like 3 years. Lisbon, Portugal, one of the holiest cities in all of Europe. A Catholic city. All Saints' Day, one of the holier days in the Christian calendar, back then especially. Everyone was in church, worshiping. That morning, there was an earthquake. And that earthquake, what buildings are most susceptible to earthquakes? The tallest, biggest buildings. And this is 1755. What are the tallest, biggest buildings in Lisbon? The churches. So, that morning, 80,000 people died in their churches from the collapse of the domes, the walls, and what followed the earthquake?
Are you watching?
Guess what? A tsunami followed the earthquake, basically wiping the city of Lisbon clean. Okay. That was the beginning of what we today think of as the modern atheism. Because at the time people said, if God is all loving, how could he have possibly done this? God presumably controlling the forces of nature. We're not talking about man's inhumanity to man here, which would be the consequence of free will. We're talking about nature. And so people at the time, led by people such as Voltaire, asked the question, if there is a God, and we had this tsunami that killed 80,000 people and wiped out a holy city on a holy day, collapsing churches onto people's heads, then either God is not all powerful, or God is not all good.
So it's the urge to declare that if there's something you don't understand about the universe, that God must be there with the puppet strings or with the forcing of what's going on.
Right.
And my favorite God of the Gaps moment, can I tell you that? It was Ptolemy.
Okay.
Claudius Ptolemy, AD 150, in the margin of his greatest work, the Almagest.
Right.
Okay. He masterfully codified the epicycles that he was sure planets traced in the sky.
Really?
With Earth in the middle of the known universe.
Oh.
There's no other way to account for planets going backwards and
forwards.
With retrograde, we have words for it even. Right. Goes backwards, retrograde.
Right.
We think the planet's actually doing that. So he does this, but it's still kind of a mystery. Why would all that happen?
Exactly.
It's just doing it. I can account for it with my little epicycles. So it's been going on forever.
Right.
This urge.
Yeah.
Okay. My caution there is, if that's how you define God, where science has yet to tread,
Right.
then God to you is an ever receding pocket of scientific ignorance.
That's cool.
And one of the people who wrote in is a niece of mine, a second cousin niece, however that works, or second cousin once removed, however that works, who, her father died. She went to identify the body in the funeral parlor and had an entire conversation with him.
So, I mean, I'm going to say that he wasn't dead if that happened, and maybe.
But the man is flat out on the slab. So she, knowing she has a cousin who's an astrophysicist, says, Neil, what do you think happened?
Mhm.
And I said, either you had an acoustic hallucination.
Right.
Normally we think of hallucinations as sight,
Right.
but any of your senses can be hallucinated, right? You get
Correct.
the feeling that someone is touching you.
Right.
You can taste something that really isn't there. There are a lot of things that can happen. You can have an acoustic. So either it was an acoustic hallucination, or he was actually communicating with you from the other side. So what I told her was, next time, don't have the perfunctory conversation you did. Oh, Dad, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. Is everything okay? Yes. And how are you? No. This is if this is actually happening and it's not a hallucination, do not lose the opportunity. Say, and I gave a list of questions. I said, Dad, where are you?
Right.
Are you wearing clothes?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is Mom there?
Right.
How old are the two of you?
Right.
Are you in your 30s or 20s
Right.
at your prime? Or are you old and shriveled and near dead after your half stroke that you had a year ago? Okay. Do you eat? Where do you get your food?
Right.
Is there a barbecue? Just ask stuff and then try to get meaningful answers from the other side. If you knew nothing about science and you read, say, the Bible, the Old Testament, which in Genesis is an account of nature. That's what that is. And I said to you, give me your description of the natural world based only on this. You would say the world was created in 6 days and that stars are just little points of light, much lesser than the sun. And in fact, they can fall out of the sky, right? Because that's what happens during the Revelation. One of the signs that the second coming is that the stars will fall out of the sky and land on Earth. To even write that means you don't know what those things are. You have no concept of what the actual universe is. So everybody who tried to make proclamations about the physical universe based on Bible passages got the wrong answer. Right. So what happened was, when science discovers things and you want to stay religious, or you want to continue to believe that the Bible is unerring, what you would do is, you would say, well, let me go back to the Bible and reinterpret it. Then you'd say things like, oh, they didn't really mean that literally, they meant that figuratively. So this whole sort of reinterpretation of how figurative the poetic passages of the Bible are came after science showed that this is not how things unfolded. This is in response to the people out there who say, oh, Earth is just perfect for life. Oh, what a haven in all the universe, just right. It's not just right.
So this is
Every opportunity it gets, it tries to kill us. Add it up. The tsunamis, the hurricanes, the tornadoes, the asteroids, the 3/4 of the Earth. If I drop you butt naked, you're dead 10 minutes later. Because something eats you, okay?
So this is the anti-Gaia hypothesis?
Anti-Gaia, yeah. Earth is bad for life. And evidence of that is, look at the fossil record. 99% of all species that ever lived are now extinct. That is not the signature of a planet that is in love with life. That went around for a while, and I found it very unconvincing. It was, the laws of physics are exactly the way they need to be for us to be alive.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, okay. If they were slightly different, then we wouldn't be here. Like if the charge on the electron or the value of the gravitational constant, or the speed of light, you know, things like that. And they all configure to make matter and energy come together such that we can be alive in that universe.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, there's some people that, even on a macro level, they're like, we live in the Goldilocks zone of these planets, and the other planets are dead as far as we're concerned.
As far as we know. That's
As
right.
far as we know.
So with all of these parameters in just the right way, in just the right place, people who are lean religious refer to it as the fine-tuning argument.
Interesting. Okay.
Everything's fine-tuned
Right.
to produce life,
Right.
human life.
Right.
Now, so
He's a god of precision that has placed things in this perfect
configuration,
kind of synchronicity.
Yes,
that
okay.
all the gears mesh and everything works so that we get life.
and we pop out.
And we pop out.
Exactly.
Right.
I don't argue the fact that we have constants of nature that if they were slightly different, we wouldn't be here. I don't have an argument against that.
I mean, that's.
But
yeah.
my argument, however, is if whoever created the universe, if there's such an entity that did, why make a universe where we didn't show up for
13.8 billion years.
billion years?
Right.
Not only that, Earth was not born until the universe was already 8-9 billion years old.
Right.
And then life begins, single-celled organisms. Is this the god of that life? Okay. But that was 3.8 billion years ago. Humans in our current form last, 100,000 years or so, go to a million years, which is a drop in the bucket relative to the 4 billion.
For the 4 billion.
Billion.
Yeah. Right.
Millions to billions?
Right. That's,
Okay. It seems like if you really wanted to make a universe that favored us, we would have shown up much earlier.
sooner.
Much earlier. I'm just thinking. However, my issue there is not how long that is, but how long that is relative to us.
I got
That's all.
you. I got
That could be
you.
short to God,
Right.
but that means we're even shorter. Okay. So it does not
I see
look
what you're saying.
it does
Right.
not look like the universe cared much about us for most of its existence.
Right.
That's my only point
I
there.
got you. Okay.
So if you go online and in a Google search, you type God's worshipped by humans. There's a tally of all the gods ever worshipped by humans in the history of civilization. And it just goes screen after screen after screen after screen. So when you say, do you believe in God? Which God? Is it Zeus? Is it Poseidon? Is it the Jewish God? Is it the Christian God? Because the Jewish God from the Old Testament is filled with wrath, okay? All right, and smoting and smiting and whatever the past tense verb is. And so, and the New Testament, God is kinder, all right?
A little nicer, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So you look at all of this and you say, is that the God you want me to comment on? Or is there some other God? Typically, it's the Judeo-Christian blend there. In that context, I would say in my studies of the universe, I value evidence, and I don't see evidence for any kind of active intelligence or power over anything.
What do you believe? What do you think happens when we die?
Well, so I can make some unassailable statements about what happens when you die. So you spend your life eating food. Food has a calorie content, and calorie is a source of energy. Calorie is a unit of energy. You bring it in, and then the energy is available for you to maintain your body temperature at nearly 100 degrees. It's 98.6. How do you keep something at 100 degrees when nothing else around you is? You're burning energy to sustain that, because biologically, we need to be at that temperature to function, okay? You also need energy to walk and to move. That's why you eat food. The moment you die, what happens? You don't maintain the energy. Your temperature drops. How far does it drop? To room temperature. At a funeral, in the casket, if you touch the hand of the person in the casket, your first thought is, the body's cold. No, it's not. It's room temperature. But it's cold compared to 100 degrees. They're no longer burning this energy. Okay, so now, every one of your molecules has energy within it. If you get cremated, that energy gets released in the form of heat. and you heat the air, and that air radiates to space. You get buried, which is how I want my body to be disposed of. Bury me. Bury me. Because you know why? I don't want the energy content of my body to just get radiated out into space of no use to anybody. Put me in the ground. Let the worms, microbes come in and out of my body. And the energy content of my body that I had assembled over my lifetime, consuming the flora and fauna of this earth, my body then returns to them.
You're not conscious, and that's for eternity, right?
Yeah, there's no evidence that I have any consciousness of anything. And by the way, is that so weird? Did you have consciousness before you were born? Were you saying, how come I'm not on Earth? My gosh, I need to be on Earth. Or where am I? No, there's just the state of non-existence. Those gods have certain powers ascribed to them.
Well, they have to.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right? They're all-powerful,
Right.
all-knowing,
Right.
all good.
Right.
All right? These are common terms invoked. All I can say is that when I look at the universe, an asteroid strikes, rendering 66 million years ago, 75% of the species of life on Earth went extinct. The universe doesn't look like anyone is in charge of anything.
The randomness of the universe.
The randomness of 100 years ago,
so random.
100 years ago, before our telescopes were good enough
Right.
to reveal asteroid strikes and stellar collisions and galactic collisions and all this, it was, the beauty and the majesty of this ordered universe.
Right.
I have books that talk about the ordered universe. And then you look closer and it does not look like what people wanted it to be, to match their expectations of the God they're ascribing its handiwork to be. On Earth, if I drop you butt naked in a random spot on Earth,
You're probably gonna die.
you're gonna die within a half hour.
Yeah.
Drop you in the ocean,
You're gonna die.
Two-thirds of Earth, 3/4 is ocean.
Right.
Shark is gonna
Drop
take
you.
a bite out of you. You dead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
If I drop you in the Arctic, there's not even land there.
Right.
You're just hors d'oeuvres for
a polar bear.
Polar bears.
Yep.
So we say, Earth is a haven for life. After you've built cities and heat and air conditioning and clothing, and then we say, look how beautiful Earth is.
Right.
So we did a lot of work to make Earth comfortable for us.
Right.
And so I remain agnostic on this. They're not falling for the God of the gaps.
Right.
To them, God is everything.
Yeah.
Gaps and no gaps.
Right.
Okay? So that God, that's a different God. Okay? That's not just a God who lurks,
Right.
because science is an ever-moving frontier, right? One day we'll figure out dark matter, dark energy, and what happens to your God if that's what it was. All right?
Right. Okay.
So the people who say God is everything, that resembles greatly Spinoza's God. He suggested
Yeah.
that the very order of the universe, the operations of nature, everything we see, feel, and experience is God.
Okay. And now I know a lot of people who feel that.
Exactly,
Yes.
exactly. So that would be Spinoza's God. And when Einstein was asked, does he believe in God? He said, if there's a God I believe in at all, I'm paraphrasing, it's Spinoza's God, okay?
Right.
That's a different God from a God that is paying attention to your behavior. So as you come from that posture to gods that are more engaged with you and your existence,
Personally involved.
then these would be gods you pray to.
Okay.
You wouldn't pray to Spinoza's God. I just want to make it clear to people that when they say God,
Right.
God has very different meanings to different people,
There's a tiered
even throughout
perception
history.
of God.
Even throughout history.
Wow,
Correct.
that's great.
Correct.
Okay.
In fact, the people who say they are dying in their hospital bed and they lift up and they see themselves, they look back on
Yeah,
themselves from
that's
above.
a very common
You've heard about this?
experience. Yeah.
Very
they're-
common. So you got the experiment for that, okay? We got the experiment. You set up a ledge above the bed, okay?
Mhm.
Okay. These are people who had near-death experiences, right?
Yes,
They
yes.
saw themselves and then they went back. So you set a ledge up above the bed, and then you write something, a simple saying like "roses are red" or "the sky is blue." Okay. You put that on top. Don't tell the person who is dying. When they say they went up and saw themselves, they would see this thing that you wrote and get them to tell you what it said.
Oh, that's rough.
That would
man.
be evidence That's what I'm saying. That would be evidence that they actually came up
That they
and
came
looked
out,
above
they were
their
looking
body.
down physically on their own body. Yes, exactly.
On their own body in the bed. That's right. So there are experiments you can do.
Do you think you would be happier if you believed in God?
I'm a pretty happy guy.
Do you think you'd be happier?
I don't know. I've seen very happy people in celebrating their version of God. But then there are other people who are really happy in their version of God. And here's the problem. Deeply religious people typically find other religions. Deeply religious people will declare for themselves and others in that religion that all the other religions are false. False. And if not false, just make preposterous claims. It is so obvious to them how false all the other religions are. Now you go to this religion. It is obvious how preposterous the rest of the religions are. You go around religion to religion. And so what's really going on here is devout people in so many of these religions are atheists to every religion but their own. Every religion but their own. Okay? How can a mountain have moved to Muhammad? That can't be. Okay. Oh, but yes, the creator of the universe impregnated a woman in the Middle East 2,000 years ago. That's more believable than anything in the Quran for this person. Okay? And then the Jews, he's saying, Jesus is the son of God? What are you crazy? Where'd you get that from? He's a good Jew, nice prophet, but son of God, you're going too far. So everybody's saying what's not true. So they're atheists for every other, they just don't believe any other religion. Whereas an actual atheist just has one more religion to that category. Did you know that late 1890s, was it? At the turn of the century, Wilhelm Röntgen, you realize he discovered X-rays. We call them X-rays. In Germany, he's German, they call them Röntgen rays, okay, as you'd expect.
Right.
Okay. They see through your body. What people were doing back then was, oh my gosh, if it can see through the body, maybe if I X-ray you the moment of your death, I will see the soul rise up out of your corporal existence. So they did these experiments. I mean, why not?
Yeah,
you got a new
the
tool of
person's
physics.
already dying. They don't have to worry about the radiation, that's for sure.
Yeah, up the dose.
Yeah. Turn it up to 11, guys. Turn it up to 11.
So, but no, they didn't say anything coming out of the body.
You sometimes feel sad about breaking all these myths apart.
No, because I think it's some myths are deserve to be broken apart out of respect for the human intellect. That no, when you're writhing on the ground and froth is coming out of your mouth, you're having an epileptic seizure. You have not been invaded by the devil. We got this one figured out, okay? I mean, discovery moves on. So I don't mind the power of myth and magic, but take it to the next frontier and apply it there. Don't apply it in places where we've long passed what we already know what's going on.
It may be that the most important role of church wasn't to give a specific recipe for how you pray, or again, who you pray to, or when you pray. Maybe that wasn't its greatest value. Maybe its greatest value was the community that it created.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone comes together, and they're all in one room at the same time. That's not happening today. Like you said, people are less religious today than ever before. There are many people who were once religious would today say they're spiritual, which means they're separated from the rules and regulations that typically dictate how you behave within a religion. But the fact is, you're talking about going upwards, so you have your city, your community, your neighbors, and your church, your synagogue, your mosque, your temple, whatever is the place where you gather with some frequency. That surely has value because we need each other. I'm jealous when you drive down the country road and there's a deer just walking around. And I'm thinking, society collapsed. That deer is just fine. The deer was born in the woods, is finding food, is grown up. Whereas I need other people to survive in this world. The way I look at it is the knowledge that I'm going to die that creates the focus that I bring to being alive. The urgency of accomplishment, the need to express love now, not later. If we live forever, why ever even get out of bed in the morning? Because you always have tomorrow. That's not the kind of life I want to lead.
But why, don't you fear not being around?
I fear living a life where I could have accomplished something and didn't. That's what I fear. I don't fear death.
You don't fear the unknown?
I love the unknown.